Those of you that have followed my earlier videos know that I have a Riverside 920 Touring. This is the bike that I rode the southern part of the European Divide Bikepacking Trail on. And I mean, you can see my review online on it, and basically I've been very, very happy with it. Since I got back from my trip on the Divide, I have made a few modifications, and I have decided to use this bike for lighter loads than I had it on the Divide. I have removed the rear rack, and I have put back the frame bag that I started the trip with but then decided not to use on the trip, and I have also changed wheels. If you saw my earlier review, you know that the original rim on the rear wheel started to crack, and I'm actually still waiting for Decathlon to replace that. As I wanted to make the bike a little bit lighter and make it more for overnight, shorter trips or day trips, I decided to try a lighter set of wheels, and I've bought these Hunt wheels for it. They are the Hunt 4-season gravel X wide. I haven't really had a chance to try them all that much yet. They do fit excellently on the bike, and I will get back with a sort of a mini review of them when I've got a little bit more experience with them. Apart from that, I've changed the gearing to 1146 on the rear like I originally planned to do for the Divide but never got around to doing, and that's working brilliantly. That's really one of the modifications I really wanted to make on this bike. If you saw the review, you also know that I didn't like the original drop bars, and I've actually just cut them off because I wasn't using the lower section at all. And one modification I will probably do in the future is to try another set of drop bars. I've had a set of Ritchie bars recommended, and I'll look into changing them later on. But what you might not know is that I actually have one other Riverside bike. I have a Riverside 520. I originally bought this bike to commute on. With the 920, I found that I was forever taking bags on and off for touring and trying different things, and I decided I wanted a bike that I could use just around town, shopping, to and from work, and I bought the Riverside Touring 520, the cheaper version of the 920. It's exactly the same frame, but it doesn't have the carbon fork. It's got some micro shift gears on it instead of the SRAM Rival, and it has some thinner rims on it, but it's actually 36-inch rims with eyelets. So I actually think these rims will be stronger than the ones on the Riverside 920. As I said, I originally intended to use it only for around town and to and from work and going to the shop, but I couldn't help myself and I ended up making a touring bike out of it. While the 920 is built as a more modern gravel bike, a gravel touring bikepacking bike, this is really built very much as a classic touring bike. It has the 4 pannier setups. That is something that I bought extra. I complemented the bike with the original Riverside front rack, and I can carry 4 panniers. I can have something on the rear rack, and I have also put on an Ortlieb front bag. Now I had all of this stuff, apart from the front rack I already had everything, so it was just a matter of putting it on. But this is a very, very, very much made up as a classic touring bike. It has a square taper bottom bracket for easy maintenance and easy to get stuff. It's a 1x1146, so the gearing should be enough. It has the dynamo front hub originally from it, and I put on the I put on the Cycle 2 Charge USB charger on this, as my Hunt wheels on the 920 don't have a dynamo. I've changed to a Brooks leather saddle, and I've also changed the tyres. The tyres that came on it were pretty terrible, but I put on some 42mm Surly extraterrestrial touring tyres. So basically this bike is more or less ready to go around the world on a more classic touring, bike touring type adventure. until the bike packing craze started, this was basically the sort of bike touring bike you would have built, or most people would have recommended, apart from the fact that maybe it's a 29-inch, and going back a few years people would have recommended 26-inch tires instead. But for touring around Europe, doing any of the Eurovelo tours, this would be an absolutely perfect and very cheap bike to do it on. And after having used the frame on the 920 for the really rough southern section of the European Divide Bikepacking Trail, I am absolutely positive that this would handle it without any problems at all. It has reasonably quick steering, which is actually quite nice when you load it on with the front panniers. So this bike, the frame, is actually very, very well suited to make a touring bike like this on it. A few things I would probably change. I would like to have another set of handlebars, something a little bit more alt bar with something with a little bit more sweep back to make it more comfortable. And I would possibly change it to a little bit smaller front cog as well. It's got a 36 on it now, I think. I would probably go down to a 32, the same gearing that I have on the 920, as that would make it really, really nice and low for those long, heavily loaded days where you're really tired towards the end of the day. So with this, I have two bikes that I can ride just about anywhere. I don't have to move too much stuff around on them, and I can go for a long tour with everything with the kitchen sink, or some quick overnighters where I really want to travel on some rough stuff and get there quickly. The other beauty with this is that because it's the same frame and I bought the extra Hunt wheels, I actually have an extra set of wheels. My original plan was to put these wider rims on the touring bike and use the narrower rims as spares for both bikes. But I haven't had the rear rim replaced under warranty yet. I'm still waiting for that. But as soon as that comes through, and because I now have the same gearing, 1146 on both bikes, I will be able to swap wheels between them pretty much as I want. This way, if I want to go with the 920 on a longer tour and I need the charging from the USB hub, I can put these wheels back on. Or if I want a slightly wider wheel with better flotation, when I go touring on the 520, I can put them on there. All in all, these two bikes give me a lot of options, and they have been really good value so far. The only thing is that I need to get the rear rim replaced, but Decathlon have promised me that under warranty, and I'm just waiting for it to arrive. With all that said, I am not 100% sure that I'm going to keep either of them. I have a couple of other projects on the go that might necessitate me using another bike. So basically, I think they're both for sale at the moment, and I'll let you know later on what my new project is. Keep watching.